Happy Monday, folks. It's the Monday of the final of the March Madness comes to an end tonight. UConn or San Diego State. And Amadeus, we were talking on Friday about about San Diego State's ability to play defense. They also proved they can win by offense in that game with FAU.
Yeah, it was shocking. They scored quite a bit of points. I know that
Mhm.
one went over the total. That was a definitely one where they needed to come back. But if they had started the game off playing their defensive style, then they probably wouldn't have gotten themselves into that situation. But they played a lot of FAU's game in the first
Mhm.
half, and that was really what allowed the game to get away from them.
Yeah, and it was, be honest, it took one heck of a shot to win the game.
Oh, I was loving it because I was on San Diego State money line,
Mhm.
but I was leaning towards FAU plus the 3, and
Yeah,
that game panned out exactly. Now I was on the under, so that was a little disappointing, but
yeah.
we made it up with UConn minus 5.5 to end the night, so it was pretty.
Oh, man, UConn just, took Miami to the shed.
Yeah, and you guys heard it here first. We were all talking about it on Friday how it was going to be a San Diego State UConn final, so
Yeah,
we pegged that one right on the nose.
it's, you know, Dennis Dodd had a great story in CBS Sports saying that the Pac-12 should be waiting at the airport, after tonight's game to win, lose, or draw, to sign San Diego State to, go into the conference replacing Arizona and UCLA, the two brands that they're going to lose. Um, I'm sorry, UCLA is the brand they're going to lose. And Arizona didn't really show up at the tournament, so it's one of those kind of things. Um,
Yeah.
so anyway, tonight should be fun. I don't know that watching UConn play. I don't know that Arizona State has the defense to stop them. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one. UConn definitely has looked dominant in every single game. Now the spread's 7.5 in this one, so
That's a big spread.
yeah, definitely a big spread for a team that plays very well on defense. But
Mhm.
it's gonna come down to what UConn team shows up today because we've seen so far we've just seen the UConn team that doesn't even let you score 50 points and will
Mhm.
score 70 or 80 themselves. So
Mhm.
it's definitely going to be an interesting game.
Well, to your point earlier, if if San Diego State can get out of the box, forcing UConn to play their game, that's where I think they have a chance. If, on the other hand, they get out of the box like they did against FAU, they're not coming back on UConn the way they came back on FAU.
Yeah, and it was really surprising too because slowing down the pace was really how they beat Alabama, and it was kind of
Mhm.
like they let all that go out the window when they played against FAU, which was the lower seed. They were technically the higher seed, even
Sure.
though some had FAU ranked as the better team. But that was one where San Diego State had to come in playing their game, and they just completely let it go in the first half. And this might be
Mhm.
one of those games where if that happens again, they might not be able to come back on this UConn team. But at the same time, you know, UConn was a team that they struggled in their conference this
Mhm.
year. Other than that, they've been great in non-conference games. But really, San Diego State's obviously they have some good wins under their belt and they've made it this far. So they're definitely no pushover. So if they keep this game close all night, it's going to be a tough one for UConn to get away in.
Yeah, the funny part I thought of the UConn story, right, is they didn't lose a game out of conference. All the go- all the losses happened in the Big East. So either that says something about the Big East or it says something about their non-conference games. But it
Yeah,
was
I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that you with your conference you see these teams twice a year most of the time, right? These guys, and a
not
lot of the
surprise
times,
anybody.
yeah, a lot of the times these players have been playing against each other for the last 2 or 3 years. Not to mention the coaches have been playing
Mhm.
against each other for 5+ years at a time in a lot of these situations. So yeah, then you get into these situations where okay, I know how to play this team. I know what I need to do to grit it out. Where obviously in in this kind of game, these non-conference games. You don't see the team as often, so it's more you gotta figure them out on the fly.
Right. It's funny, uh, Sean being there in the tri-state area, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and New York. Um, the Hurley family is, of course, New Jersey royalty, and Coach Hurley has gotten this UConn team to the final, and it's going to be, if he can pull it off, it's going to be quite a win for UConn. And um, they've had some amazing teams in the past as well. So, uh, not to mention what Gino Oriana's done on the ladies' side of the role with that. But I'm fascinated to see what the ratings are going to be, because um, we all say we want Cinderella, okay, but TV ratings prove that if we don't have some of the blue bloods in there, nobody's watching, and that's kind of an interesting thing. Conversely, on the women's side, they had record ratings all the way through the tournament, to and including, I'm sure we'll get the number from yesterday, where, I'm quite certain that that'll probably be the highest rated um, women's final they've had in years.
Yeah, that was another interesting one, just because obviously you didn't have South Carolina just walk through the entire
Right.
tournament. And Iowa was even a 4-point favorite in that final game.
Hmm.
And the whole story was how great Caitlin Clark was throughout the entire tournament. She's
Right.
even scored over 40 points in that final game, I think, but they still
Hmm.
lost, and they
Hmm.
lost pretty badly. They were trailing by 20
Hmm.
for a majority of that game, so it just goes to show you that the talent is growing in the women's system as well, which is good to see.
It's in that game. I was watching in the third quarter, uh, early in the third quarter. Iowa made a run and they cut it to 8, and you're like, okay, here's, let's just see how this plays out. And there was a situation where one of they had a break, and for reasons that I cannot for the life of me fathom, the one guard, I can't remember the young woman's name. She decided she had two people she could have thrown. I mean, it was almost like a layup. And but she pulled up from like 40 feet and launched one. And I'm like, what are you doing? I mean, you've got them on the ropes, and you basically now just, tossed. Yeah, if it goes in, you're the hero, but it's not going in from there. Um, and suddenly, from that point forward, they got that way. And to be honest, to be fair to Iowa, and obviously to fair to LSU, the the two best players on Iowa got into foul trouble in that last early part of the fourth period, and that they weren't going to make a run back. And LSU, to their credit, stuck with the game plan and got a win. And I know there were some people who were grousing about the officiating, but to be honest, that really didn't. I don't think that pushed the needle that far for LSU.
Yeah, yeah, they were definitely the better team, and they were what, a number 3 seed too.
They
So
were. Yeah.
yeah, so there you go, right? There's some.
Well,
It's
they're in
not
the state.
just the chalk. It's not so chalky in the women's tournament this year.
Well, and LSU, of course, is in the same conference with South Carolina. So, you know, they're probably not going to, unless they beat South Carolina, they're not going to get there. But I
Yeah,
mean, it was a good season, a good tournament for them. It was a good tournament for the men as well. It was all the way around a fun thing, and we'll get to celebrate it tonight and find out how it goes. What's your thoughts on UConn or San Diego State?
yeah, it's a tough one, but I think UConn's probably going to win this game.
You take the under, or what's the over under?
The total in this one's actually 131 and a half last time I
Hmm,
checked, but that was yesterday. That might have moved a bit, but
hmm,
the total's really tough for me in this one, because I think it's kind of right on the nose, and I'm not
mhm.
sure. And it's all about which UConn and San Diego State team shows up, right? Like
Mhm,
this could
for
be
sure.
this could be like a 70-50, 80-50 kind of game. It could also be very close, where high 60s, both are in the low 70s type thing.
I was
So
going to say they could be 74, 72. So, it could be something in that
yeah,
neighborhood.
so definitely Yeah, definitely the total. I guess if I had to pick, I would lean to the under, but really, I don't have a strong feel on this total at all.
Right, right. It's well, again, we could see San Diego State play an up tempo game. I don't think they can up tempo UConn, but then you know they certainly proved that they could, and so you never know. So as you said, I think the tender is going to be set early. If San Diego State cannot play defense early, we'll know, and I think that's where it's going to dictate because this thing could get out of hand quick.
Yeah, and if it does, they're probably not going to come back on them.
Well, it's going to be tough. It would be very, very tough because San Diego State doesn't shoot the three that much.
Exactly. And they were shooting a lot more in the FAU game, but again, that's just more testament to them not playing their game against FAU,
Mhm.
how uncomfortable FAU made them. So
Right.
if they're gonna have to shoot the three to get out of this one, they might not have the same luck. This is really one they're gonna have to clamp down defensively.
Well, the other part of that equation too is when you're shooting threes, right? It's a rhythm shot. It's not a set shot. So you may go on a streak and hit 4 or 5 threes, right? Then you may not hit one again for your next 5 or 6. So, and that creates long rebounds. So, you end up playing defense and offense real quick on those long rebound shots. So, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But
Yeah.
to me, I, I love Diego State. I wish them well. I hope something comes for them. But I just don't see them beating you. But heaven knows I've been wrong before. Don't bet
Yeah,
on
I
don't
mean
bet on anything I say.
I
He's
mean,
the
it's been a lot of dogs in this tournament, but
yeah.
UConn's been the one favorite that's been pretty sturdy throughout. So
Well, and they're not they're not the highest seed left that anybody thought was going to be there. So they've been disrespected in that regard. So in some ways, they're a Cinderella story. Under normal circumstances, they would be the Cinderella story. But San Diego State and FAU kind of beat them to the punch on that one.
even Miami.
Yeah, that's true. Even Miami, absolutely. Over the weekend, a lot of soccer, and you and Sean were having a fun debate over text on Manchester United. And what are your observations from this past weekend?
Yeah, his team really let me down. I had the over in that one, and they're so pathetic. They didn't even show up. It could have been at least, and I'm disappointed in Newcastle too, because again, they won the game 2-0, but two late goals. They should have won that one 5-0 easily. So the attack's definitely getting better for Newcastle, but still struggling to finish it in the net, and that's disappointing. I wanted to cash that over. I thought even when they started to score late, I always thought there was a chance with those two teams. But yeah, it was a disappointing showing from Manchester United. That's for sure.
What about PSG? I mean, they dropped it too.
Yeah, they lost did they lose? Actually, I didn't even see the final in that one.
3-0.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So Leon,
seriously,
I know it was 1-0 Leon last time I
yeah.
checked. But yeah, PSG. I don't know. Something's wrong with this team. Like we've been talking about how they might
Mhm.
they might just fall apart in the summertime. So they're a team to obviously to monitor now, especially since they're out of Champions League. Like it's gonna be interesting seeing how this PSG team
And I
moves
checked, I didn't
forward.
see anybody's birthday. So you can't use the birthday excuse either. So,
Yeah, yeah. And then the other story, Napoli got destroyed by my AC
oh, yeah.
Milan 4-0. And that was disappointing too because even though I'm an AC Milan fan, I was on
Mhm.
Napoli in that game. But
Well, they came
yeah,
back to haunt you.
but to be fair, Napoli. So Napoli has been missing their best player. He Osherman was not in the game.
Mhm.
Yes, yeah, he was not in the game yesterday, and he wasn't in the game that they won in
Mhm.
Milan earlier this season. So far, this Milan team hasn't even seen the best Napoli team on the field that there is. And now Osherman said he was going to be ready for the first leg against AC Milan in Champions League. So I still don't trust my team. Still don't trust them.
Switching gears for a moment. I did watch some baseball over the weekend, not much, but some. I tuned in on Saturday night to watch Madison Bumgarner and Clayton Kershaw square off, and 5 runs in the first inning, including a grand slam, had Mad Bum going crazy right from the get-go. So it was kind of, hey, Sean.
Hey, sorry.
That's okay. We just wanted to.
Here's Foxy. Just here we are.
Right in time. It's like you could sense him.
It's like you and he got there at the same time. Let me pot. Whoa.
There you go. Care about Cup champions.
There you go. So
it was 2-2. It was 2-2 on aggregate for the season, but we won the trophy, so it's all right.
No, take what you get. That's right. Take it when you get it. Wait a minute. What's Foxy? Tough 24 hours for Sean. He hasn't taken the ones eating very well. Well, I think that life will go on. I think that Sean will be able to survive.
Yeah, we'll be back ahead on. We'll be back in third on Wednesday.
Amadeus and I were just talking about the NCAA tournament final. Any thoughts on UConn? And you got, you got to go UConn because you got your boy Hurley, who is royalty in New Jersey.
I mean,
their coach.
Yeah, I hope, I'm really hoping San Diego State wins because I think it would change basketball. I mean, if a bunch of these 5th and 6th year kids win a title, maybe some people will stay and see what goes on. If UConn's winning the game. There's no way. Like, no one's beating this UConn team at all. They were number 1, not preseason, but they were number 1 early in the season, and they hit a little rough patch, but they're by far the best team. I mean, if they go through and win this by double digits here, you could argue, they're up there with the 2009 North Carolina team that, just demolished everybody on the way to a title after they lost in 2008 in the Final Four. And, maybe the 04 UConn. There's not a lot of teams like this that have been around. So there's no way. The only thing I'll say is San Diego State can guard the 3. So if they can shut down UConn, but I just don't know. Nobody's been able to shut UConn down. It's just not, it just hasn't happened. And, San Diego State's like just squeaked by like the last 3 or 4 games here. So I just don't see it, but it's one game, so anything can happen.
Yeah. We were just talking that we think, Amadeus and I, think that if San Diego State doesn't get it early, doesn't get the defense in there early and play their game, if it's a running game, they'll lose to UConn.
Yeah, I mean, look, if the score's in the 80s, there's no way San Diego State's winning the game. If the score's in the high 70s, probably not. It's going to have to be, a 75, 70, 72, or San Diego State's not winning this game big either. Like, every game is close. So, they just got to, they can't be down by 15 at halftime. They can't be down by, they've been down in basically every game and had to come back. Like, that's not happening against UConn. They're just too good. Sonogo will go UConn extended line 12.5.
Whoa.
Is that the line tonight?
No, it's 7.5.
Bill, where'd you get your line?
No, it's
He's
like
taking an alternate line.
Alternate line, yeah.
It's probably something like, I don't know, +2, +300, something like that. Why?
It's +185. It's not
Really?
terrible. I would, UConn 9.5 is +120. They've won every game by double digits. Bill, Bill, I mean, you're up there. I mean, I can't see any way around them winning this game. I mean, they're really too good. It's interesting too because, this game is over, and then all of a sudden, everything turns to there's no NBA tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And then everything turns.
Took the night off. Everybody wants to watch the national championship.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's the right thing to do. It's going to be another late night, man. I've been up late watching WrestleMania and stuff, man. It's the NBA comes back and there's basically 4 games left. It's a little bit of a 4-game sprint here for some of these teams. I mean, in the East, the basketball, basically, which teams are going to be in the for top 6 and, which teams are going to be in the playoffs. I guess the Lakers are going to sneak in. They'll probably try to find a way to cheat and get them into the 6th spot over the Warriors there. So,
like Tottenham today, guys.
What's that?
Do you like Tottenham?
I mean, it's tempting at the number, but how can you trust this team on the road? They've been so bad.
They're terrible on the road. I don't. Let me see.
Playing Everton.
Oh,
Somebody from Australia calling me. I did one thing online saying I might want to move there, and now I got to call 50 times a day, man. It's crazy. Just let me look at this line here.
when you move to Australia?
What's that?
When you moving to
No, they just want people to move there. So it's Everton or draw at plus 148. It's not. I thought that would be a little lower, to be honest. Everton and plus 270 at home is not. Bill, I wouldn't bet the game, to be honest. Amadeus, do you like that at all?
Yeah, I can't trust Tottenham in this spot for sure. I'm with you. I actually lean to Everton and the draw. They've been playing very well at home lately, and they're not giving up goals. Tottenham, they just scored 3 goals against Southampton, who, 2 points at the bottom of the table there. In like 3 games prior to that, they haven't scored on the road, so can't trust this team at all.
I think, tomorrow there's some interesting games. Obviously the main event there tomorrow, Chelsea Liverpool. I think that's. I don't know if you talked about it, but Chelsea fired their coach. They'll have more coaches that by the end of this year than wins at this point. But it's.
Are you on mute? Okay, you got a gallon of milk.
You're not on mute.
I'm not on mute. Okay, good.
I think Brighton, Bournemouth, whatever that game, the Brighton and Brentford game was great, but I can't believe Leeds is it's favored in that game, minus 125. I don't really know.
I think they're getting relegated, man. I think Leeds is in huge trouble.
Yeah, I don't understand that line. I don't understand Leicester City being favored against Aston Villa. I know we just got fired. That team stinks.
Aston Villa has been on fire.
Aston Villa, yeah, they're playing well. Unai Emery is only hired in like October, and he's like already like the 11th guy with the most 11th most seniority in the league. And then Chelsea Liverpool, that's a fascinating game for me because I think Potter.
I think that one's going to draw.
I think you could make an argument that Potter bollocks that team up. And I think they might play better without him. So, hey, buddy. Hi. So we'll see. But yeah, I and you know, I'm once again, I'm not sold on Liverpool at all. I think they're in a lot of trouble. Virgil van Dijk looks terrible. Trent
Yeah.
is atrocious. I mean, Chelsea. I think if Chelsea comes out and plays attacking, I think they could probably I think there could be some goals in that game. I do say that both.
I was leaning that way too, right? I was thinking there would be some goals, but then when I looked into it, the last 3 have been 0-0 draws.
Really?
Yeah, and the last 5 straight have drawn. So now I'm just thinking about taking the draw at plus 240.
It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, and they've all been. I think some of them were in cup matches too and things like that. But yeah, like 0-0, 0-0, 0-0. Those are the last 3, and then I think there was a 2-2 in there and a 1-1 before that. But yeah, I'm liking the draw in that game. And then going back to the Aston Villa one, they actually all of a sudden, they're sitting with 41 points, only 2 points out of obviously they've played 28 matches. So we got to see with these made up matches what happens. But all of a sudden they're sniffing a Europa spot.
They are.
Can't believe it.
Harry Kane to score for a couple bucks. I think that if Tottenham scores, he's probably going to score. Let me see. I don't know who you would take for. I just don't know who you would take for Everton. Maybe Tarkowski or something on a header.
An own goal by Tottenham.
Oh yeah, Onana on somewhere on a header thing. I mean, I'm kind of I have to cover the games, so it's like. I might try to watch it later, but it's going to be like one of these terrible games. It's going to be 1-0 either way. So, unless I think if Tottenham scores first, it's weird because it's still the same coaching staff. Basically, it's just not Conte. It's still his staff. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah. Still the good old terror ball, but I don't know. They haven't been good on the road. They're not scoring goals. This Everton defense has been good at home. I lean to Everton. Double chance in this one. I can't trust Tottenham.
Yeah, I agree. I think they can find a way to get a point. I think there's good game. This is a good week of games. During the midweek. Even Wednesday, you got Manchester United and Brentford and West Ham, Newcastle. I'm all right.
Yeah.
Because West Ham picked up that big win over the weekend. I mean, they were atrocious. They were in the relegation zone. Now they're in 14th. Like that's.
You know what? I was on West Ham in that game, and I'm happy to cash, but. My God, they did not deserve to.
Oh,
they were pathetic.
They were terrible for the first 30 minutes, and then they went ahead, and it's just like I mean, they're just look. They went from 18th to 14th with the win, but they're only 1 point ahead of the relegation zone. If Everton wins, they'll jump ahead of them, and then but they have a game in hand over everybody else. That's a problem. Like Southampton's already got 29 games. West Ham's got 27. So
Southampton's done, man. They're finishing at the bottom.
We're gonna raid that team.
They're done. Leeds is gonna slip somehow in there. West Ham, they'll find a way to get out. As
West Ham's too good, I think, to go down.
They have the players. Just they were so pathetic. I don't get this team, man. And then they dominate the Conference League.
I'd like to see Everton, Everton kind of stay up, but Leicester would, Leicester Leeds, that'd be good. But it's going to be interesting.
Bournemouth for sure too is going to go down probably. It'll probably be Southampton, Bournemouth, and Leeds. I think.
Yeah, Bill. Sometimes I'll do baseball, but I just I haven't had a chance to look. I'm in a baseball knockout pool thing, so. I think I have Toronto this week, but
What do you think of the pitch clock?
I haven't watched an inning of a game yet. I haven't had a second to watch an inning of a game yet. But
Early,
from what everybody says, it's working.
yeah. I saw one guy get a ball put on him. This is a pitcher. Got a ball called on him because he threw the ball at the 32-second mark. So 8 seconds into the pitch, and they said that he didn't give the batter time enough to get set. Then I saw a batter stand there and step out, and they threw a pitch, and it counted as a strike because he didn't call time to step out of the batter's box. So part of it is the players actually starting to get used to these new rules. And part of it is, there's some interesting things. Clearly, the other thing is the bases. Amadeus pizza box bases. We're seeing guys steal and, get on base. The other, and I think probably the most underrated aspect of the three is the shift. Without the shift, we're seeing guys, get hits like in the old days. There would have been a guy in left field and thrown him out, but not now. So they're getting some hits. So it's a quick sample size because we've only played one weekend, but some interesting stuff.
Yeah, it's I think this week, if I ever get a minute to do anything, it's starting to get busy with all this stuff. So maybe like at night when I get home, I'll be able to watch a game after my. It's tough though because when you're watching high school baseball all day and then coming home and watching a game, it's like that's what my buddy always asked me to go to game, and I'm like. Nah, it's 6 baseball games this week. I think I'll pass.
Yeah, take a day off.
Yeah.
A lot of hot dogs. Yeah. Who is
Bernard Byrne?
So what do you think of Bernard Byrne? Who is he?
Amadeus, please, Amadeus.
I mean, that's a good question. I don't even know who Bernard Byrne is.
Dortmund was funny this weekend. Anybody catch that act?
Dortmund? Dortmund. Capital Markets for Davey. No, I watched that game. They're terrible. They're just the keeper. I mean, it's embarrassing. Like they just bend over every time they play. It's just like, come on, man.
Are we talking about Byrne now, or are we talking about Dortmund?
I don't even know who that dude is. Colin O'Duty. You gotta tell me. Amadeus. He's asking you, Amadeus. He says, "Please, Amadeus, please."
I have no idea who Bernard Byrne is.
He's such a goat.
Okay. Of what?
I don't know, man. He's the GOAT.
Well, he might be, but we don't know who he is. Let me play Google while you guys are hanging there.
I just, you will. All right, buddy.
I get the same thing you get, which is he's the cap. He's the he was just appointed the head of the Davy Group.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
didn't really watch.
He's the go to bankers, I guess.
Yeah, he's the go to bankers.
So,
he's
famous, very famous in Ireland. Yeah, I get that. He's
that's right. Yeah, he's famous here in Ireland.
That's was he a former soccer player?
Is his name Carlos?
No, it's Bernard Byrne. Let me look back.
Carlos. I actually have to run. I gotta go to my game. I just wanted to jump on for a couple minutes. No, it's Bernard. Oh, hey, Bernard. Oh, you're Bernard. All right. You're the GOAT. Bernard, you're the GOAT.
All right. So Bernard Davy is watching it. Okay. We might. Does anybody have a bank in Ireland?
Oh, man, we got 2 people watching on the thing. I'm not Bernard.
That
Who
might
are
be.
you, pal? All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I wish I was.
Okay. So long. Bye bye.
Later, Sean.
So all right. Dude, I'm not Bernard. Okay, we get it. Good. Yeah, I know. I wish I was as well. The head of the bank in Ireland. Call of Duty. Do you have a favorite team in Ireland? Do you have a favorite team in the Premier League? Anything? No. All right. Okay. Wait a minute, Bill. Amadeus, baseball.
Yeah, I do. I do bet baseball, Bill. I went 103, 69, and 2 with my premium plays last year for over 20K profit. So yeah, I mean, it's been a pretty even start for me. I think I'm up 1 on the season so far. So,
There you
but
go.
we'll be cooking. If you need a play for tonight, Bill, I like the first 5 over in the Padres game. I think both these pitchers, Ryan Weathers and the other guy,
Blake Snell throwing.
what's his name? No, it's Ryan Weathers and Ryan Nelson, I think. Yeah.
The game of Ryan's.
Yeah. One's like Ryan, like RYNE, but that's what I called it, the battle of the Ryans, and I think I think that's an over. They both seem like gas cans. I think one was a rookie last year too, so I did look into it. They haven't looked good in spring training. It was a premium play I forgot to add to my card. So and I already sent out my final report, so I can't add anything else. But yeah, I like the first 5 over in that one.
Yes, we are. Our conclusion is he's a goat. The Bernard Burners, he's the goat. We all like him. Do you like him, Amadeus?
I mean, if you tell me who he is, if we're talking about the bank guy, I know
President of a
nothing
bank
about
in
him.
Ireland. So. He likes the Yankees on the run line.
Yeah, I was leaning towards the Yankees money line with Cortez, and then what is that at right now? That one's -170. See, that one was -150 yesterday, so it got a little steamed. But yeah, the Yankees was definitely that was one I was considering. Just didn't like. I'm not a big run line player. I stick to money lines and totals, so I won't take like the Dodgers -1.5, but I'll take them on the money line if it's under -150 or something. So yeah, the Yankees is definitely one I do like today.
What about
and the Rays too?
The Rays are in Washington.
Yeah, they got Rasmussen on the mound. I think he's going to pitch a good game.
What was I going to say? Why don't we give some tips to Bill and anybody else on why are TVs facing through my skull? It's a thing that for some reason is tearing. I apologize there. Call of Duty. Let me if I hold my head straight like that, it won't go. So I'll do my best. Talking about betting on baseball, it's there's some tips which Amadeus I'm sure can give you. Maybe I guess the easiest thing would be starting first 5 or something like that.
Yeah. First 5, I do a lot of first 5 plays. It all depends, really. There's some games where either the bullpen's good, but it's some bad starters, or vice versa. So yeah, it's all about finding value. Sometimes you can even find value in these bigger money lines, like the Yankees -170. You could probably get them minus the half first 5. That's probably something around even money or something.
Over the weekend, the Red Sox played like they were Toronto Blue Jays. A game they put up a run.
Yeah, they scored 9 runs in every game, so that was a lot.
It was 9? Wow.
Yeah, they scored 9 in every game.
Brady Singer over Berrios in the although Kansas City hasn't yet.
Yeah, I kind of do like the Royals to beat the Blue Jays. They get their first win.
The I don't know let me check the schedule, but who's pitching it? So Rasmussen is pitching for the Rays, and the Nationals won one game over the weekend against a Braves team. We definitely will. Thanks for bringing it up. I'm trying to think who's pitching. Well, it doesn't matter who's pitching for Washington. They have not. They haven't really scored much in the way this year. Of course, they started against the Braves, but it doesn't get any better against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay swept the Tigers over the weekend. So we shall see what we shall see. Any final thoughts there on Amadeus as we get to cruise out here on a Monday? For
No, I'll leave you with those plays: Yankees, Rays, and then the first 5 over in the Padres.
And Connecticut to win?
Yeah. I think they win tonight.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, everybody. We will be back tomorrow at 2:00 right here. And we hope that you have a chance to join us. We'll be talking about who won the game tonight, and also about a bunch of soccer, which will be coming up this week, because it's a full slate of games all week long. It should be very interesting. Until then, for Amadeus, for Sean, who isn't here yet, it's Jim. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.